Today I'm going to bring you a quick summer lunch which can be eaten hot or cold. It could be eaten for a dinner as well. And it's a mango and chicken risoni salad. Okay, so really simple mangoes, chicken, you can see a few herbs there, got parsley and coriander and some basil. And we'll chop up some of these beans, some spring onions, spinach, and these little cool things, risoni. I don't know if people have had these before, but it is like rice, but it's a Durham pasta as well, so which makes a really different flavour to a rice itself. So I'm going to boil those first. So there's about 500 grams of risoni there, and we're just going to put in a splash of salt and watch Maggie. A splash of salt, so some boiling water. This takes about 10 to 12 minutes, this risoni. So let's put in the 500 grams. This will feed about 6 to 8 people, probably more. And let that boil, turn that up, let that boil for, as I said, 10 or so minutes. And just stirring it first off, just to break away some of those bits that might be stuck. You can either put the lid on, leave it off. I'm easy to leave it off. Let me cook the barbecue. I've got the barbecue going. I want to cook this chicken breast, 4 of them. Probably don't need it all, but of course there's always a little bit additional there. And then we'll show you how we prep it all together. Okay, so chicken's on. I just drizzled that with some light olive oil and some salt and pepper, and that's sitting on the barbie. That shouldn't take too long. That's boiling away, the risoni. Obviously clean plate for the chicken. Now you could use a chicken breast. I've used chicken breast. You could use chicken thigh as well. It is a moist cut, whatever you kind of prefer. So with these beans, you'll see a lot here. I try and cut them to a point where they're reasonably sized around bite size. Watch your thumb as well. So I'm going to cut those into around thirds. Now you could use a frozen bean, but as I've been told, they can be a bit soggy in this risoni, so I'd go a fresh bean. And in fact, I wouldn't even cook these. I'd leave them as they are, so give it that little bit of crunch. You could cook them if you want. You could lightly blanch them in a little bit of steaming water or in the microwave for a few minutes with a bit of salt and butter, but I'm happy just to let them go like that, give it a little bit of that crunch and really bring that summer feel into it. So I'm going to keep working on both those things, and then we'll show you the next steps. In particular, what I want to give a sense of, what might that sauce look like? We've got just a drizzled sauce. So we've got some garlic there, some Dijon mustard and some lemons, and we're going to mix it up with a bit of salt and pepper, and that'll be the kind of the sauce that we put over the serving of the mango and chicken risoni salad. So I've just put the spinach in there, and I've sprinkled all the coriander in and the spring onion. Now there's a little bit of that basil as well that we can just sprinkle in there. Don't overdo it with too much of the basil. It can be quite a powerful taste. And I'm going to leave the parsley just for the end, okay? We'll just drizzle that on top. So there's a number of kind of things on there. Just while we're waiting, I want to show you what this might look like, the juicing of the lemon. So let's squeeze the lemon a bit. This can sometimes help some of the juice come out. Now, be mindful that you're going to get some lemon pips in there. So I like to make sure that with clean hands, these are not very juicy lemons. So we're going to I might even get a little juicer onto that, because there's... Okay, what you can see, I've just taken that risoni off the heat there, oopsie daisy, and just letting it cool, okay? So you really want to let that cool before we add that onto the salad. Similarly with the chicken, making sure that that's been cooled so you don't really wet the salad. I managed to squeeze enough juice out of those lemons. You can see that there's about close to 150, 200 mils there. Just a tiny bit of salt in this, a little bit of pepper. And this will be that sauce that you put on last minute, okay? So we've got the risoni cooling down, the beans are ready to go. Oh, just wait to do it all kind of last minute, this sauce, because you don't want it to be too wet. So with this garlic, just, maybe it's about half of that. We'll try to taste a little bit of that. So about a teaspoon of that, and a good chunk of that Dijon mustard, and just mixing it up, and that's honestly as good as can. Now I will put a little splash of oil in there as well, to help with that flavour. So a little splash of that oil. And just mixing up, as I said, leaving that aside and I've got the pips out as well, but leaving that aside for right at the end when we pour it on top. I think we can add a little, you might as well, I'm not a waster, so let's just whack it all in. Okay, so that's that Dijon mustard. You could use a seeded mustard with this, it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't go one of those really hot English mustards, unless you were somewhat brave and knew that your audience were the same in their palate. A little bit extra garlic, again, that can't be too bad for you. With this salad, again, you can put some heat on it. With anything, you can put a chili or a heat on it. I'll just see how it goes. In terms of presentation, it looks great, but some people might not like that really strong heat. So, I'm going to put that aside. As I said, that'll go on top. Once that's stirred through, that looks pretty good. Let's try to look at that. Perfect. Now, mangoes. There's a whole lot of ways you can cut up mangoes. I like to just go cheek to cheek. Now that sounds weird, but take off the cheeks of the mango and leave the pip, and we can work around the pip at the moment at the end. Now, just lightly score it. Obviously, be very careful with how you do that. Lightly score all the way down to the skin, being very careful how you handle it. And with a spoon, you'll just break that out and you have little chunks of the mango. And that's one way you can do it. The other way you can do it is really just, you could slice it. If you wanted to slice your mango, it's another way as well. So you could have long slices of the mango, whichever you prefer. And similar process, a little bit more fiddly, but just breaking those off either with a sharp knife. You can run a knife again, being really careful as to how you do that. Just taking those little slices of mango. Now, a lot of people don't apparently love mango, but I think it goes really well with this chicken dish. As I said, a really summery dish. The chicken, mango, and risoni salad with a whole lot of greens in there as well. So, as I said, there's a few ways you can cut that up. That, or alternatively, that first kind of option, which looks like a little bit of a hedgehog in terms of the way that's presented. And just getting those little chunks out. Okay, so there's a few ways, pardon me, that you can do that, depending on how you want to present it. All right, I'm going to go check on the chicken, and we'll come back and show you how to plate it up. Okay, I'm just going to, I don't necessarily need to show this, but just, cutting up the chicken to little bite-sized pieces. It's cool-ish, it's cooled off a little bit. You can see that I've put that mango on there. The risoni's almost cold as well. And we're going to kind of fold that through that risoni just to pick up a lot of those flavours. I'll put the beans in, of course, and then it's just a case of dropping the parsley on the top and using some of that sauce. So I just put it in a little jar just to shake it up a little bit, that sauce. So that's the lemon, the garlic, a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and some of that mustard, Dijon mustard, which will give that awesome little flavour over the top. Now, optional is, of course, the heat, so you don't necessarily have to do that. So I'll keep cutting that chicken up, fold that in, bring the risoni in, show you, and then plate it up and show you at the end.